Why does Poseidon hate Odysseus? The Odyssey explained. Warning, this video contains spoilers for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and Homer's epic poem. If there's one question almost every viewer asks after watching Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, it's this: why does Poseidon hate Odysseus so much? After all, Poseidon spends nearly the entire movie trying to destroy him. He sends violent storms. He wrecks his ships. He delays his journey home for 10 years. He causes the deaths of Odysseus' crew. And even after all that suffering, he refuses to let the king of Ithaca return home in peace. At first, it almost feels personal, but was Poseidon simply being cruel? Or did Odysseus actually do something that deserved the sea god's wrath? The answer takes us back to one of the most famous moments in all of Greek mythology, the encounter with the Cyclops. Let's break it down. To understand Poseidon's anger, we first need to understand who he is. Poseidon isn't just the god of the sea. He's one of the 12 Olympian gods and the brother of Zeus and Hades. After the Titans were defeated, the three brothers divided the universe among themselves. Zeus ruled the skies. Hades ruled the underworld. And Poseidon became ruler of every ocean, sea, river, and coastline. But Poseidon was also known as the Earthshaker. According to Greek mythology, he could cause earthquakes simply by striking the ground with his legendary trident. Ancient sailors feared him more than almost any other god. A calm sea meant Poseidon was pleased. A violent storm meant someone had earned his anger. Unfortunately for Odysseus, that someone was him. After leaving Troy, Odysseus and his crew landed on the island of the Cyclopes. There, they discovered a cave filled with food and livestock. Instead of leaving immediately, Odysseus decided to stay and meet whoever lived there. That decision would become one of the biggest mistakes of his life. The cave belonged to Polyphemus, a giant one-eyed Cyclops. But Polyphemus wasn't just another monster. He was Poseidon's own son. When the Cyclops returned home, he trapped Odysseus and his men inside the cave with a gigantic boulder. One by one, Polyphemus began eating the trapped sailors alive. Facing certain death, Odysseus relied on the quality that had always made him different from other Greek heroes. Not strength, not speed, but intelligence. He offered the Cyclops strong wine until the giant became drunk. Then he told Polyphemus that his name was Nobody. When the giant finally fell asleep, Odysseus and his men sharpened a wooden stake and drove it directly into the Cyclops' only eye. Blinded and screaming in agony, Polyphemus called for help. The other Cyclopes rushed to the cave and shouted, "Who is hurting you?" Polyphemus answered, "Nobody." Hearing that, the other Cyclopes assumed he wasn't actually being attacked and walked away. It was one of the cleverest tricks in Greek mythology. Odysseus had won. Or at least ... he should have. After escaping beneath the bellies of the Cyclops sheep, Odysseus and his crew safely reached their ship. The danger was over. He could have quietly sailed away. Instead, his pride took control. As the ship drifted farther from the island, Odysseus couldn't resist boasting. He shouted back across the sea. He revealed his real name. He proudly announced that Odysseus, king of Ithaca, was the man who had defeated the mighty Cyclops. That single moment changed everything. The blinded Polyphemus raised his hands to the sky and prayed to his father Poseidon. His prayer wasn't simply for revenge. It was a curse. He begged Poseidon to make sure Odysseus would never have an easy journey home. If he survived, let him return alone. Let every one of his companions die. Let him lose everything he loves. And let him arrive home only after years of unimaginable suffering. Poseidon heard every word. And because Polyphemus was his son, the sea god answered. From that point onward, Poseidon became Odysseus' greatest enemy. Every violent storm, every shipwreck, every delay, every disaster at sea, All of it stemmed from that one moment of pride. Christopher Nolan emphasizes an important lesson here. Blinding Polyphemus wasn't the real mistake. Odysseus acted in self-defense. The Cyclops had trapped his men and was killing them one by one. Any leader would have fought back. The real mistake came afterward. Instead of leaving quietly, Odysseus wanted recognition. He wanted the world to know that he had defeated the monster. That desire for glory gave Polyphemus exactly what he needed: his identity. Had Odysseus remained silent, Poseidon may never have known who was responsible. His journey home might have lasted weeks instead of 10 years. This idea reflects one of the most important themes in Greek mythology: hubris. Hubris means excessive pride or arrogance. Again and again, Greek myths warn that even the greatest heroes can be destroyed when pride becomes more important than wisdom. Odysseus survives monsters because he's clever. But he suffers because, at times, his pride outweighs his judgment. Poseidon's anger also reflects how the gods viewed family. To the Olympians, an insult against one of their children was an insult against them. Imagine someone blinding your son and then publicly celebrating it. That's how Poseidon sees Odysseus. From the sea god's perspective, this isn't random cruelty. It's vengeance for a personal attack. Of course, many viewers argue that Poseidon goes far too far. Yes, Odysseus injured Polyphemus. But did every member of his crew deserve to die? Did Penelope deserve to wait 20 years? Did Telemachus deserve to grow up without his father? Greek mythology often reminds us that gods don't think like humans. Their sense of justice is absolute. Mercy is rare. And their punishments often affect innocent people. That's what makes Poseidon such a terrifying force. He's not a villain driven by greed. He's a god driven by wounded pride. There's another fascinating layer to this rivalry. Poseidon represents raw power. Athena represents wisdom. Throughout the Odyssey, these two gods constantly influence Odysseus in opposite ways. Poseidon tries to destroy him through force. Athena helps him survive through intelligence. Their conflict reflects the central message of the story. Brute strength may win battles, but wisdom is what gets you home. Eventually, even Poseidon cannot stop Odysseus forever. The other gods recognize that the king of Ithaca has suffered enough. With Zeus' approval, Odysseus is finally allowed to complete his journey. But by then, Poseidon's curse has already changed him forever. When Odysseus finally reaches Ithaca, he isn't the same proud warrior who left Troy. He's wiser, more patient, more humble. And perhaps that's the greatest irony of all. Poseidon wanted to punish Odysseus. Instead, he unintentionally shaped him into the man he was always meant to become. Without Poseidon's wrath, there will be no legendary voyage, no impossible trials, and no story remembered for nearly 3,000 years. So why does Poseidon hate Odysseus? Because Odysseus blinded his son, Polyphemus. But more importantly, because Odysseus allowed pride to overcome wisdom. That single decision transformed the victorious king into the most famous wanderer in Greek mythology. And it reminds us that sometimes our greatest enemy isn't the battle we fight. It's the mistake we make after we've already won. What do you think? Was Poseidon justified in seeking revenge for his son, or did he punish Odysseus far more harshly than the crime deserved? And here's another interesting question. If Odysseus had never revealed his real name to Polyphemus, do you think his journey home would have been completely different? Or would the gods have found another way to test him? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more The Odyssey Explained videos, Greek mythology stories, character breakdowns, hidden details, and Christopher Nolan analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.